Rocking out. Hi everyone, this is Amelia Duran, your host in the Porthole to Justice, and that was awesome. That's Steph Daniel, and I am just kind of rocking out over here with Kofifi Cat and my beautiful friend Jacklynn Conrad. Jacklynn, welcome to the Porthole to Justice, the window to the truth. We are live.
Good afternoon. It's a beautiful sunny day here, and what better day to bring forth some light, right?
Yeah. Oh my God.
Put a light on the subject.
Excuse me. So there's so much like cultural tension, Jacklynn. It needs to be discussed and, magma released.
Yes. What a beautifully creative word for that, because it's like a building heat and, almost a fire. It's crazy. And the thing is, it is, though it's mystical and magical at the same time, because it's almost like the Lord is bringing this out so that more people will awaken. And yeah, I mean, it's like getting to the point where you can't run and hide behind a rock or something, or under your comfy little cozy blankie. Mm-hmm. You actually need to say, what is this? And start contemplating, who are you in this process? Yeah. Wow. This is huge.
It is. Mm-hmm. And, okay, I'm letting everybody know that I'm live. I'm live with Jacklynn. Yo, everybody.
I love it. You're in good spirits.
I'm trying.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm here.
I know, but you know what? You're resilient. That's what makes you so beautiful. You are such a light, and you just keep revolving in that light, just circling and re-energizing. It's like you're a little energizer bunny that it can't be stopped. I love it. I really, and I mean, that's what it takes. I
think that's what I like about Seth so much. Mm-hmm. Is because I identify with he's so prolific and he's always creating. And I feel like if I keep creating, then I am, somehow connected to the Most High. And that's when I feel the most tuned in. If I'm creating or I'm doing something and I'm making something or I'm on the radio or I'm making memes or I'm doing this and that, and then I feel like I'm in the groove. Does that make sense?
It totally does. And that is why I think so many people of the light are drawn to listen to him. And it's so weird because even though I loved the movie with Mel Gibson, about William Wallace, Braveheart, every time I think of, William Wallace, Zeph comes to mind. It's the weirdest thing.
I know.
I mean, it's like Braveheart. That's really a good name for him because he just doesn't stop he just keeps on going and putting it out there. And, sometimes, even though it seems like some of the things he says are hard to handle, or they are almost feeling like a negative energy because it's so intense, it is so necessary to bring people to that state of consciousness where I'm like in constant prayer now. And I'm not just saying that. I mean, I'm always talking to God.
No matter...
Like all the
like
time.
A meditative communication.
Yes, that's what I'm saying. And I mean, I'm always asking for protection for the president, for my family, for my family of the Lord, all of my brothers and sisters who are fighting this war. I'm always asking for protection for the best thing to happen, for even the people who are the slightest bit capable of waking up to wake up. Mm-hmm. I don't even care what they're doing if they could just see something to hit them. You know what I mean?
Uh-huh. Well, for the new listeners that are tuning in, my guest today is Jacklynn Conrad, who is a fellow Los Angelino. And I am gathered here today with Kofifi Cat. And we're talking about the Zeph Report because we dig it.
And because it's so key in this awakening. And the numbers for him and for you, they're astronomical. And they're probably even more than shows. So the whole thing is, because, for how long have they been playing with, what's the name of it? Again, I forget that when they do not the sound bites, but what's it called when you mess with the algorithms? They've been playing with algorithms forever, and taking them off.
And they're doing something recently, and they've gone mainstream with it, I think. It's called shadow banning. And they're also implementing some kind of other new psyop, I noticed. And, we're getting censored. We're getting buried, and I was recently banned for 7 days because Facebook notified me that there was suspicious activity on my account, and this is the 4th time. So I decided to start a public persona profile so that I could continue to post. Otherwise, I wouldn't be able to continue my presence on Facebook. And everybody is on Facebook. I don't care what people say, Twitter, MeWe, all of these uncensored platforms, everybody is on Facebook.
All right, so let me ask you a question, given that you put that point out there, which I agree with you on. But what I want to ask you is, so this current milieu of all the garbage that's going on about Zuckerberg and Facebook and him impinging on people's privacy he's in trouble right now for that. Have you heard anything on the news? Have you been listening?
Well, I've been listening somewhat. However, as a person, I don't watch TV.
Mm-hmm. Well, anyway, they're coming after him
I haven't watched mainstream television in over 17 years, Jacklynn.
The only thing I'll peek at is Fox News. I do not like television. And the only reason I watch any regular TV, like any Netflix or anything, is because for validation of what I know that they're doing to the masses and how they're manipulating and controlling them and what their current game is. And, it's so funny because I've seen this since I was in my late 20s or mid-20s, that they were manipulating people through the movies. I mean, it's always been the white Christian is the crazy one, right? In the movies, and the murderer and the crazy person. And, so they've been doing this for quite some time. And they've been the whole time situating things as they want it. Men are pigs, breaking the family, all of what they want to bring to fruition for their, communistic type agenda. Yeah. It's like a playbook. Do you know what I'm saying? That's what the movies have been, really, for the most part. Yeah.
Well, yeah, and I'm trying to think of the name of the book, and I can't think of it at the moment, but it's the Communist Manifesto, and
Rules for Radicals?
Yeah. Is that it? Is
that
what it's called?
Yeah, that's it. Saul Alinsky, Rules for Radicals, yes.
Yeah, so, they kind of jumped the gun and were pointing the finger at us before we even were aware of what was really hitting the masses, saying that we're Nazis and white men are, patriarchal men are the quote-unquote enemies of society. And, you know, it's really unfair that we generalize any one particular race, because the truth of the matter is that every single organization, every religious community, every public community, every aspect of society has been infiltrated by this mentality or these people. You know, some people might liken them to like oh gosh, I can't think of the name, and I've had him on the show several times, David Malcolm, he's spoken on this, but you know, during the French Revolution,
the Jacobins.
Yes, thank you so much.
yeah.
Go to left the words there. I've had him on my show so many times, and I can't believe it. Okay. I need to have him on again. I really need to reach out to him.
That is a very interesting situation, because there were more people killed more rapidly than in any other revolution or war. Mm-hmm. I mean, it was intense. Mm-hmm. The Jacobins were, and they remind me of these Democrats. They really do. I mean, the mentality, the viciousness. Well, and you know what's really rich?
History, they are identified with the Democrats.
Yes. And then this is the other thing that is really mind-boggling right now. Okay, so they're deporting, or I don't know the term. I'm trying to think of the expelling or expulsion of all these Russian diplomats. Okay, well, I find that really rich when, in fact, we have all kinds of Muslims with Sharia law infiltrating our own system. So we're going to trump up something, not a pun intended, I guess, trump up something against the Russians to make, more trouble with them, to make tensions tighter, you know, while we have people infiltrating our very own system. And in camps and God knows what all, and why are they not being the ones? I mean, it blows my mind. I'm sorry, but we want to incite Russia? Do we really need this right now? I mean, well, I don't know.
And you know, while we're doing this whole Russia distraction and the gun ban, ironically, several days ago, we're heavily in debt to China. And a lot of people aren't aware that China owns our mainstream media probably for the last 17, 20 years. You know, when you see these like high 1% actors in the media like Oprah Winfrey and George Clooney, all of these people are pretty much, they know what side their bread is buttered on. And, you know, China owns.
And I may not be accurate, but I believe that that's what the stink is about, that Zuckerberg was selling our intel to the Chinese.
Well, yeah, and not only that, you know, a lot of people, nobody paid any attention to the fact that China declared war on the U.S. like 4 days ago. I mean, there was no word on that at all. And I find it really ironic that, you know, we have this propaganda war in the media from the left to, you know, demoralize our culture and society. And then we have this call for a gun ban, you know, and just 4 days prior, China declares war on the U.S. Do people really think it's wise that we disarm?
Are you kidding?
The people?
Well, no, that's the whole point. That's what the agenda is, to disarm us so that there can't be any fight. And that Emma, the one girl that tore up the Constitution, she is actually like a Cuban nationalist. I mean, she is a Cuban born. Where's the flag still on her jacket of the Cuba? You know, and the thing is, you have to understand, they were disarmed and slaughtered by Castro. So, I mean, really, we've got this person ripping up our Constitution? Wow.
Well, that was actually CGI. She really was. That was a Teen Vogue photo shoot that was CGI'd.
What, the flag?
Yeah, it wasn't. It was actually a publication of Vogue, I think, that she was ripping up. It wasn't necessarily the Constitution. However, the CGI version was very real, and people believe it.
Right, and it's what it is it's adding fuel to the fire. And so, you know, another thing hit me today that I don't think, a friend of mine, Lee Jackson, he made a comment on a post, and what it was this Chinese guy, Yi, who's an anti-gun control senator, in California has been arrested for gun trafficking, ironically enough. But the thing is, what he mentioned was, well, don't you see, that brings the prices up on these weapons when he's selling black market weapons because they're harder to get. And I was like, oh my God, these people, it never ends. You know, I mean, there's so many angles. Mostly it's money, profit, and power, and then their agenda, you know, what they want.
You know, and this is the thing, you know, the fact that we're being heavily censored, and we are, you know, we have communist China-styled censorship going on within Facebook, and like you mentioned, Mark Zuckerberg is being, you know, he's in trouble. So
he's being escorted, yeah.
Yeah, so, yeah, just so much going on.
Well, and it gives me hope. Well, at least that's happening, and you've got to be thankful we still have people speaking openly somewhat on television. I mean, there are some of them on there that do say things that, you know, I'm sure they'd rather not hear, like Judge Janine, like Laura, what's her name? She's on Fox. I can't think of her last name right now. She's really Ingram. And there's different ones. You know, we do have people coming to the bat. Thank God. And now I guess there's 5 different counties, 5 or 6. Yorba Linda, anyways, 5 or 6 different ones down in California that are actually countersuing all these hideous laws they've made to plump up the sanctuary cities, and they are saying no more. We are saying you're going against our Constitution, you're going against the federal government. This is stopping. So pray for that, because that means that there's hope for California. There actually is hope, you know, and we want that.
I love California. I grew up
there. I know, me
it's
too.
Such a beautiful, beautiful state. And, you know, you have to sit back and watch and think, wow, is this, you know, part of the agenda to, you know, move people out of California? And, you know, so
they want to control it, just like, you know.
They're buying it up. They're buying the
Well, it is.
And
the elitists. Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
Because it's the ideal agricultural, it's the ideal, you know, weather, you know, and it's their little Shangri-La. It's what they want. And just like, you know, in that movie, what was that movie? Where all the Elysium, you know, where all the wealthy live. And this is what these people like Goonie Clooney and his lot are after. I'm so sick of it. You know, when I lived in Hawaii, he was making a movie down there.
Clooney, I love it. Oh my God.
Goonie Clooney, man. You know, and he makes those weird old
oh my God. Did you see stuff he posted on my Facebook profile? He's like, I want to challenge him to a boxing match.
I loved it. He would wipe him up. I mean, just wipe him up.
He would, like, wipe him out, totally. Like,
I loved it. That was great. And it's true. He's despicable. And I thought that there was hope for his wife, Amal, or whatever her name is, but she was speaking at the UN and saying she didn't want, you know, the Muslims in here. And I guess something tragic happened in their situation, in their, you know, environment or something. So she was speaking against that, but yet she supports him and all this other, because, you know, it's like you said, it's their bread and butter. They know from whence it comes, you know, so they're going to play the game. Just like in Nazi Germany, all the people that were actors in cabaret and whatever else, you know, they played the game.
Yeah. So it's crazy because, you know, I went live earlier today. And, you know, it's not just this gun, you know, issue, confiscating the guns, which I think is really, really bad idea, given the fact that China has declared war 4 days ago. And it's not in the media, the mainstream media at all. Not only that, but we have this abortion issue. And I want to call this to the carpet because it's pretty barbaric. It's pretty disgusting. And the fact that we're still even arguing this, I mean, there really is no need for abortion clinics. We have pharmaceuticals that will inhibit the hormones in a woman's body that promote the conceiving a child. And
Exactly.
there is no mainstream media, promotions of this. There is no Cymbalta commercials on the TV.
Well, because you know what? Yeah, that's the whole thing. They're not going to tell you because that is their field of industry where they make huge amounts of money.
Right.
Not only do they use these cells from these live babies that they pull apart out of the sanctity of their warmth and womb. So not only are they making money off their cells for cosmetics, they put them in the very injections and the vaccines that they are then destroying the children's brains with. They are giving them gender dysphoria through taking this DNA that is fragmented. Okay, so you put male and female and male. And so now you're going to give them dysphoria because these actual cells are in their body making them feel feelings from the other sex. You know what I'm saying? I mean, this is a hellish market, and they are torturing these kids. They bang their heads, they're in pain, their brains are inflamed, they've got gut-brain barrier issues. I mean, disease is so rampant now. If you think about the level of disease we have compared to in the 80s, when they barely, like in the late 70s, early 80s, you got a handful of shots. And my daughter only got a few, and it still aggravated her. She's the only one that had health issues, my first girl, and she nearly died from one. So I stopped it altogether. My other kids didn't get any, but I can tell you she had allergies. She had like a deathly horrific allergy to sulfites. So, but all this is causing now these fragmented DNA that they continue to put in the animal DNA and formaldehyde, God forbid, all the toxic metals, so their brains are so inflamed. They're cutting them off from God at birth. They can't even think the way they would. That's why they incessantly cry. Then they, cut them off from the mother, putting those chemicals in their eyes, blinding them so they can't even bond. And they're wondering why kids are having derangement syndromes and lack of empathy. Really? I mean, what? Hello? Oh, it's like when you really get down to dissecting what's really going on, it is a Holocaust.
Well,
it's a Holocaust without walls.
This isn't something that's really put out there publicly, and a lot of people aren't aware that a 100% healthy immune system that has not been mutated has a divine connection automatically to God. So when the child is born, they actually have to give them a hepatitis shot or something, to mutate this healthy connection to the divine. And a lot of people don't understand that.
That's exactly that is so astute of you. Yes.
Not only that, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you. But,
No, I'm sorry.
But a healthy immune system, our lifespans are actually micromanaged. People don't realize people used to live a lot longer lifespans.
Both of my grandmas, one was 98 and one was 99, and she went to bed one night and said, "Oh, I'm so tired." She went to bed and didn't wake up the next day. That was the end. Healthy, beautiful woman, big, thick head of white hair, beautiful teeth, and because of the natural foods and none of the chemicals, unbelievably robust. And that's exactly the truth. So out of my 5 children, the first one, when I was younger, I made the mistake of believing in the doctor, and I got a couple of shots with her, a few. She nearly died, and then I nearly died. My mother guilt-tripped me into getting a swine flu shot, and it all but killed me. It took me 7 years to heal. I mean, I was so sick. I had a slight stroke. I am stronger now and healthier now at my age, in my 60s, early 60s, than I was then. And so when I was 22. So the thing is, what I'm saying is that my other 4 children that didn't get vaccinated, so I really, really have a spectrum to see the difference. They had no allergies. They didn't have screaming fits. They're so calm. They are so focused. My only one that has any issues is my one daughter. She's still a great girl, but she has emotional trauma. She's always had listening problems. She has fear issues. She had health issues. And so the thing is, it's debilitating. It's just like you said, it cuts them off from God. These other kids have a divine connection no one can take away from them. They cannot take it. Once it's instilled and it's brought forth in their formative years, you cannot break that. You cannot. You know, and so that's what they're trying to stop. And not only that, in the meantime, they're making great money and torture and chaos. They love that.
Yeah. You know, it's just knowing what I know and you knowing what you know, and just we tend to see life from many different perspectives or facets, if you will, and it's such a sad state of affairs.
Well, it's sad, but I'm thankful for it. I'm thankful that I see in a kaleidoscopic vision rather than tunnel vision. I mean, it's kind of scary sometimes. You know, you must admit it can be overwhelming, but I would not want to be on the other side where I cannot see. You know, I mean, that's to me even more frightening.
Yeah. Because
then you can't do anything about it. If you can't see it, you can't fix it.
No.
You know what I mean? So we have a heavy plate. The people who are the ones that, for lack of a better word, are chosen to be these people that are the word giver. They are the communicators. They are the keeper of the sacred word. And they are to give it out to people in many different aspects on a daily level, all day long. You know, and you have to be that living example. I mean, I have the silliest little job right now, but the people tell me, I am drawn to you. There's something about your energy that just makes me feel good. And it's God. It's the light. It's the God being. That it's like Zeph. It's like you. It's like that contagious energy that just fills the air with that joy. That it's like you can't even put your finger on the depth of the resonance, the spirit resonance. Yeah, it's in there. It's a joy to me, even though it's a little bit freakish right now.
It is. It's scary. It's scary to be one of us. I mean, they're talking. I mean, this is not a joke. They're like talking about like, yeah, we're coming after you. You know, I get threats on Facebook and all kinds of stuff. You know, because you know they really want to monetize and legalize human trafficking in the courts and commoditize us human beings.
But my dear friend, I'm here to tell you,
everybody is able.
They cannot hurt you.
Yeah.
They cannot come against you. For your gods, they cannot and will not win. And even if they think they're winning, they're going to lose.
They try.
So and of course they do. Of course they do. You've got to be, you know, that's their whole thing. It's just they will try to stop anybody who is bombarding people with light and common sense and sensibility and healing. You know, and again, I say, when you put it out there and you say it, it's like dropping a ginormous boulder in a still pond. It just resonates and ripples out. It's the silliest line I heard that time in the movie with Billy Crystal. Or no, it was Joe Pesci. And they were, you know, the one where Marissa Tomei was in there. And it's such a funny movie.
I love that movie where she talks about the car.
I love it.
And she's on the stand. That is the best scene ever. And she's like...
And one time she's all dressed up really kind of crazy-like, and he said, "What are you wearing?" He goes, "You're going to stick out like a sore thumb." And she goes, "Oh, yeah, and you blend," you know. But anyway, so, no, that whole movie, it was great. Yeah. And at one point he says, in the courtroom, he tells him to withdraw what he said. This doesn't matter. Once it's out there, it's out there. You know what I mean? I mean, you know, you say it, they cannot stop the reverberation. They cannot stop the vibrations hitting the souls and hearts. This is a war of principle and spirit, high places. Yeah. Yep. That's why you're such a danger.
And the divide.
You see, they want to cut you off, baby. They do not want you talking with that joy and that light and that truth. And oh boy, the facts too. Shut her up.
You're making me laugh. You're tickling me from the inside.
But it's so true. It's like, damn, this one's trouble. She's a pain in the butt. What can we do next? But anyway,
they keep me with these 7-day bans on Facebook, and I'm just like, geez.
They did that to your friend Robin too, right?
Yeah, Robin too. They do not want these stories out. They do not want these legalized human trafficking stories out. I think it's the biggest threat.
That is it. That's their Gestapo.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
And you know, these foster children that are targeted individuals, you know, that have grown up in the system, they're some of the most. Their stories are what we need to hear. You know, they really validate the material that I've put out there and have created.
You are so hitting the nail on the head. Not only that, Amelia, but because it's exactly what you're saying. It's because people don't want to believe it, because by nature, most people have not that hateful spirit. They don't want to be that way. They don't want to believe in the ugly. They're hiding from the ugly. This is why I pray for people. So they don't want to believe that really that system that's supposed to be helping people is doing this to people. But it's becoming to such a point, and thank God you've been helping so much, and the other organizations tied in with you, that people are being forced to see the truth about who they really are. And not only that, they're being accosted too, you know, more and more people all the time.
Well, you know, and the targeting is so much more involved, and it's so much more personal than what people are prepared to believe, because, you know, there's this whole, you know, defamation campaign. You know, they got to slander and libel the person as well. And,
right.
You know, there's so much involved in, you know, the system does not profit from healthy, successful individuals.
Exactly, and that's exactly like Zeph says. They cannot stand a thriving the country to be thriving financially and prosperous, because you see, that's their power. Not only do they keep these people under their thumb with all the laws and all the court and these rotten judges and stuff, then it's the money.
You're healthy and strong, and you know, you're a beautiful spirit. God forbid, you know, and you're a targeted individual, because you're not going to be able to offer your gifts to society. They don't want them. They don't want them from you. You have to be sold out to us,
to the hive mind, and then, or you are not going to
promote your content and material. Other than that, we're not interested in what you have to offer, even if your content or what you create is superior to our mainstream homogenized, sanitized, content. Even if it's better and people like it more, well, we don't care, because we don't want it.
Well, and their whole structure is based on debilitating people. So these very people that they're accosting, these generational people, are also generationally welfare, usually. And many of them are, a lot of them are, and they do not have the means or the finances. So in order to keep their money, they have to be dependent on them. So they have to follow their rules, you see. And this is a lot of single women. I was hearing on a report on Hannity the other day that this country has more single mothers than anywhere. More single mothers. And the ones who are suffering the most are the male children, because they have no one to identify with. They're angry. They get involved in drugs, alcohol, crime, because they're angry and they're hurting and they have no male identity. And also there's more beta males than ever, because all of the plastics and the injections with the shots, and so we're getting all these wimpified men who won't stand up. So I mean, this is honestly,
I don't want to be with a wimpified man that's like,
oh my goodness, no. I mean, you know what? I could care less. If someone doesn't have more cojones than me, please move along.
Yeah.
Because
I was so angry. I posted a picture on Facebook, and I'm like, you know that song by AC/DC? Do you remember that song when you were in high school? I don't know if you remember, but it was like, I've got the biggest balls in the world.
Oh yes, great big balls. Yes, I love that song. That is true, though.
I posted, I'm like, I've got big eggs.
I didn't see that one. Oh, I wish I would have seen that. Oh my gosh, I'm going to have to look for that and share.
I'm really naughty sometimes on Facebook.
No, that's hilarious. No, look, we have to have a sense of humor. Yes, and above all else, I want to put this out there for anyone listening, for anyone who ever does listen, do not let them take your childlike joy. Do not let them. I don't care who they are. I don't care who they pretend to be. I don't care who the person is. Don't let them take your joy. Do not.
Well, I think
Period.
The whole world knows that my inner child is very much attacked.
Well, and that's why I love you, because it's regenerative between each other. Let's say one's having a bad day, you bounce the ball back and forth, and inevitably we always make one another laugh, and that's the best thing ever, because laughter is the best medicine. Yeah. It is. When you are sad, when you're hurting, when you're afraid, people who have your back and make you laugh and are there for you, that is like you cannot pay for that. There's no price of gold or money or silver that could pay for that, because in the end, that's what's going to take you through. And in all the situations we've ever had historically, like, Nazi Germany or, communist China or whatever they are, the people that lived through it and made it through it were the tenacious clingers to their God. Mm-hmm. Sorry, oh Bam Bam. Oh Bam Bam. But the tenacious clingers, that's why you don't like him, because you little Luciferian dude. He knows what brings, and listen, I'm going to give up, I'll back up, give him a hope. I think that you're supposed to be a prodigal. And if you do not go back, it won't be pretty, dude. So you need, and that's the Lord, not me, nothing to do with me. I just need you to know, little Barry, I know it's been tough, but you better try to find a different avenue. That's all I have to say about it, because you know what? The stuff that's been done is really unbelievable. And I don't have anger. I feel bad for people who are raised in environments and accosted since they're young and mind controlled. Mm-hmm. I mean, I have compassion on these people. I pray for them. I'm sorry for them. I also pray that they stop. Get stopped.
Robin's been a friend of mine in the network for, quite a few years. And she's in her 20s. She's young and she's beautiful. And, she's got she's a force. She's a force. I mean, I think she has like 44,000 members or something like that.
Wow. I didn't have any idea. That's crazy.
In her Sparks, she has a website called Sparks of Divine Healing. And, it's hard for her to come forward with her story. Not everybody wants to come out and say, oh, I was in the system, and I grew up in this and I know what it's all about. And
she actually really had 100 different placements.
100 different foster care placements.
That alone makes them want to shut her up. Just that statement.
And
stop right there.
It was like after I posted the promotions for her coming on the show and doing an interview, we got slammed on Facebook. Her and I both. I mean,
of course you did.
Targeted really, really hard. But she's also a little rebel herself.
So little trick. Don't mention the next time you're going to do it.
Yeah, no, I'm not.
Just do it.
I'm just going to air the show. I'm just going to air it, and.
But you can let me know.
I don't know if I'm going to do promotions anymore. I don't know, because I started posting the promotions, but I just left out the date and time. So we'll see. We'll see. That's
not too bad of an idea. That's kind of a good idea, because you have to have a little awareness level. And then if you put it out there, people will grab it. They will. Look, this is a fire they can't put out. And I don't care. There is nothing that's going to prosper against the Lord's people, not ultimately. Mm-hmm. So they better be ready, because I have a lot of friends that have been saying things like, you know what, you try to take our guns, you better get ready for a war, because we are not going to stop. I mean, people are not going to play that game. And, it's all about their profit. But right now, I think a good portion of what they're doing with this rabble-rousing of guns and stuff like that, with these poor little ignorant kids who know nothing about Nazi Germany or any communist country, that's why I was wondering why they were keeping that out of books historically and not teaching the kids. Because the last couple of 10, 20 years, they haven't been teaching them anything about it. You know what I mean? And I've known several people who said they didn't know what Hitler was. And I'm like, are you kidding me? of that age category. So anyway, they've been keeping that from them because if someone knows, they're not going to follow along with it. But at any rate, what I was going to say is behind this is another yet distraction and trying to reboot. They're trying to reboot their Democratic Party. This is trying to energize it. Do you know what I'm saying? It's like a desperate attempt. But you see, what I see every time they look more and more foolish, and more people stand against it because, believe it or not, in this country, we've been sold a bill of goods that we bought and believed in, and we even put insurance on, basically, is that we are free. We are a free people and a free nation. And I'm sorry, there's a lot of people who are not going to buy that they're not. Do you know what I mean? They're not going to just lay down.
There's a lot of people that don't want that anymore. They don't want us to be a free nation anymore. I mean, well,
it's only because they're ignorant. If they got a little taste of what they're going to get.
And, we really have to be aware. A lot of these kids have been MK Ultra. There's a lot of heavy mind programming going on.
I know.
Of the public, and a lot of people aren't awake. They're not aware.
No, I know. And then not only that, they've chemicalized them. They've injured them chemically to start with so that they are not as together as they would have been in the first place. And they're more, in other words, their energies have been, dispersed. Their energies have been broken down to where they aren't together to resist it. Do you see what I'm saying? And so they're more porous. They're more porous to suggestion. They're more porous to whoever the bigger common force is bombarding them. You know what I'm saying? So they're suggestible. They are not strong and intact like they would have been. So this is the problem, And so this is why they don't like people talking about vaccine injury. And look at all these doctors. Okay, every one of those doctors, the 88 that have been killed or whatever, suicide, they say. Sure. All in 2 years, everybody decided to commit suicide, right? With heart attack guns and whatnot. Well, anyway, the whole thing is these doctors know that there are macrophages. And these macrophages, which, by the way, they have these little nanobot macrophages that are coming in through the chemtrails, okay, that are encapsulated in microscopic little plastics. If you drink peppermint oil, it kills them as well. Peppermint oil, it breaks them. It breaks down the plastic. It's so tiny. Well, anyway, what I'm trying to say is get to the heart of this is, so these macrophages also can be used for the good or the bad. So let's say the GCMAF is one of these macrophages that goes in and eats cancer. I mean, there's videotapes of it where it attacks the cells and it actually demolishes cancer. And the cancer is trying to recoil from it. And you can see that it's eating it alive. So it's the most healthy substance on the planet. And not only that, they've even put nagalase in many of these vaccines, which breaks down your immune system and your gut-brain barrier. So it's breaking down your immune system. So anyway, these doctors have all that in common that have been killed. They all know that GCMA, it's either GMACF or GCMF, I don't know, is the factor that eats cancer. They don't want people knowing this, that it eats, toxins, and cancer particularly. So the thing is, it's a healer. So isn't that kind of scary that and have you seen anything being reported? 1 or 2 random at the beginning. There are 88 people die in a couple years, and they're all health, experts. No reports? Really?
It's so bad. I can't even believe it. There's
that's it.
With the advent of the internet and, new technology that we have, we don't even have audio recordings or cameras in the courtrooms. I mean, we're so archaic when it comes to reporting as well. I mean, people have the internet now.
Well, see, they don't want cameras in the courtroom. No. That's the point. Because they can't do their dirty work and hide it if it's being recorded. Yeah. So they don't want them.
Example. I mean, they're saying, we don't have the funding for transcribers. It's just like common sense stuff.
But they're going to all of a sudden have the money for smart cities and surveillance everywhere, right?
Yeah, but we still can't get the video footage of these shootings in the schools, but yet we have massive surveillance everywhere.
Right, that's what I'm saying. I mean, really, are you kidding me here? And I mean, and sure, this hog kid, he was at school, he ran all the way home to get his camera equipment, and then he came back. Really? Mm-hmm. Oh, come on. You people. Oh, it's just, anyway, it's okay.
It's a barrage of issues. And I try to bring them all up. And I, in the past, I've had on, like people within the jail.
By the way, he's 28 years old. He's not high school age.
I saw that Lotus Justice published his birth cert and his dad's FBI, what is it, membership. I don't know what you would call it.
Well, isn't that funny now that remember the other guy that did the other shooting? He was also a father from the FBI. What's his name? They were just showing it on TV today.
I know, but that's, and it goes back to all of this MK Ultra programming stuff. I mean, it's
right. And all those calls and stuff were probably meetings with him to train him. I shouldn't say these things, but it's highly possible.
Well,
and I can't prove it.
It certainly raises red flags,
you
know. And we've posted it, and we've all dissected and discussed it.
Oh, I know, it's all over the place. They cannot hide. And so, who knows if this Zuckerberg thing, if that's really official that they're going to do anything, or if they're just trying to shut them down and to get through this election. Who knows what they're trying to pull anymore?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Yeah, because it's such a control thing. Everything's so, but it's okay because there is one above all this. And whatever happens, all will be used together for the good for those that love God. It just, in the end, they are not going to be. It's not going to matter. They still can't win. So, I guess that's part of the reason I'm happy all the time, because I know that I'm on my Father's in the winning,
we're on the winning,
the light side.
Yeah, we win in the end.
Yeah.
Kofifi is tuning in.
How cute. I love that cat. I just want to hold her and feel her. Yeah, it's a he though, right?
It's a he. He is a
Kofifi.
And he's huge now. I mean, this cat, I had no idea they got so big. It's pretty amazing.
Does he only eat cat food? Or does he?
No, he doesn't. He eats 2 whole fresh chickens a week.
Oh, so he is literally the healthy little, that cat. What was the cat I just loved in Alice in Wonderland? He reminds me, the Cheshire Cat, even though he doesn't look really like him, it's that grin. Yeah. It's like, I know something you don't know.
I love that smile.
He's so cute. He is. He's a gorgeous cat. Yeah, well, perfect for you. So,
yeah.
But anyway, I think that, we've put some things out there. I can't wait to hear you and Robin. I really want to hear it.
I do too. I'm looking forward to hearing her. She's getting situated in her new place. I worry about her right now because she just moved to California. And I'm really trying to keep her from, don't compromise. The minute you have to start compromising and it's too much than what you want to, give, you've got to pull back, because it's going to come at you from every angle. So,
did she say what made her move there?
Well, she said that she was, obviously, because they legalized, a lot of stuff. But not only that.
Well, it's legal in Oregon, too.
Yeah, not only
the
that.
thing is.
Well, maybe that's the next destination. But, it's like, there's a lot going on there. There's some serious healing that needs to be achieved, and I think that's her main goal.
Oh, and I'm sure of it. And so, I would imagine medicinally she needs to do some of that just to calm and heal her as she goes along, because it is a grounding thing as long as it's organic. I think, I'm not really a big participator, but I have nothing against something God created. It's way better than any chemical you can put in your body. If you need to be brought down to a calmer status. Some people have been through so much, they need something that calms them.
I'm teetering on this campaign to actually promote it and to legalize it, because we have so many veterans that have suffered from PTSD,
And the CBD oil is phenomenal.
Not just that, all the children that suffer from seizures and all of these other disorders, they desperately need it. And I've done several shows on this topic, and I realize it's very controversial, and a lot of people look down on it. But my argument is this, okay, and this is what I've put forward on many shows. If we can have methadone clinics for heroin addicts, okay, the government can have methadone clinics for heroin addicts. Why can't we devise the same kind of system for, people?
Well, okay, let me tell you something about the structure of the food, the hemp hearts themselves.
Medicinal marijuana. Why can't we devise the same kind of clinics and the same thing for these children that desperately need it? And even there's Tourette's, there's Alzheimer's, there's
see, and here's the thing: the CBD oil itself does not have THC in it. Yeah. So CBD oil does not make you high. It just makes you feel very calm and peaceful because it has so many nutritional things in it. So even a hemp heart, let me say this to you.
If we have a system in our government already established to provide methadone for heroin addicts, why can't we implement the same thing for medical purposes for
I agree.
Children?
I agree completely, but what I'm saying is...
And that's going to be... I think that's going to be the approach to my entire campaign when I do broach the subject, because I am going to come up behind Robin probably pretty soon.
Well, eventually I might be working in an herbal shop that promotes CBD oil and makes it eventually one day with my girlfriend who's an herbalist. But what I want to explain to you is I am learning nutritionally now. Just starting, she asked me to start looking into it within this next 6 months about how healing it is. Now, besides the CBD oil, just the hemp hearts from the seeds, little bitty seeds that look like sesame seeds.
Yeah, a lot of people are railing against Robin because she's really been promoting it very hardcore, and
I think maybe it's the aspect in which he's promoting it more than, because if you would say she doesn't care, she's like, whatever, dude, this is the way it is, and get real, but she's skipping all the stuff. But I did want to get this out there: the actual even seeds of hemp called hemp hearts. I actually was selling them at Costco the other day. There's a food that you actually put on. It has more omega-3, more omega-6 than do flax seeds, do chia seeds, and it is so light and delicate and delicious. And it has, for 3 tablespoons, 10 grams of protein. So right there you can see the nutritional effect.
She's like out there, she's like, just
the nutrition.
She's like, screw it, I'm just going to come out and I'm going to be like, because it's legal where I'm at. And Facebook is like, no, we have laws that regulate.
No, but it's legal here where I live. And the thing is,
I know, this is ridiculous. Yeah. It's really and truly ridiculous. And I'm thinking of starting a whole mem campaign, which is going to back up. And it does which will most likely back up her show on the Porthole to Justice. Because we have tons of children in Kansas, and I mean everywhere. I've done the Michael Brooks show.
Yes, that have the seizures from all this crap that's been done to them and everything.
Grand mal seizures, and they desperately need.
Well, it's almost like they don't want them to be able to heal, just like with the GCMAF. That's the same thing. So what I'm telling you, I want to get this message out there. And as we do this, maybe I'll come out and see you so you can help me to be able to work on these MEMS and help me to teach me some things so that I can actually help you promote this. Because I'm going to tell you, the actual CBD oil does not have the get high stuff in it. It does not have any THC.
No.
Okay? And none. So it's a healer is all it is. Yeah.
No, and there's many, I didn't really actually know how everybody was going to respond to my support of Sparks of Divine Healing. I, suspect that a lot of people might not agree with my perspective on this, but, this is the direction that I'm probably going to be heading in, because I feel really strongly that the children that are very sick need this, and I really want to rail against the government and promote them implementing some kind of system similar to what they provide for methadone heroin addicts, for these
Well, no,
children.
and I agree. It should be in every state. It's a medicine. It is not, you do not have the ability to get high. And what they hate about it is it makes you feel happy and it makes you feel at peace. It's a very stabilizing, and they want people unstable. This is why it's so verboten,
I've been on the sidelines with Robin for about 2 years. And I'm like, I'm watching her, and I'm like, I love her. I adore her. She's got this great personality. I love her background. I love who she is, who she's become. And it's like, I just feel like, okay, some people might not agree with my position, but so many children need this. And I'm going to have to really campaign hard so that they do get it, and that we do get something in the system that provides it for them. Free of charge.
Well, and as a matter of fact, though, I would be more to agree with the nutritional and the medicinal. However, even on the end of some people doing the other, which CBD is enough to make you just very calm and happy if you're an angry person. It helps people. So they don't want to promote this. But the thing, even with the other, where people want the THC, I would prefer that. Did you ever see somebody stoned beating someone up?
Never.
That's what I'm saying. I mean, alcohol makes people beat people up.
And ironic to me is that they're actually trying to go after the guns of people that have medicinal marijuana licenses.
I know. I get it. That's what they set them up. So if you're taking that, they're going to
on the planet.
Say that again.
These are like the most non-violent people on the planet.
I know. That's what I'm saying. No, but it's just another way to get
ridiculous.
guns.
It's like them going after the conservatives or the NRA people, which I want to point out. Wait, I want to point out something. Nobody in the NRA has ever shot up a school or movie theater, or ever.
And I don't think there's been a conservative. If it is, it's really rare. Right, exactly. That's what I'm saying. Not one person that would follow a gun rule would ever hurt anyone with a gun anyway. Ever, unless somebody was trying to kill them or their family. So the whole point is, and the reason they're going after, they want the automatic rifles, is because, in countries like Afghanistan and such like that, they survived for years fighting these people because they could make them. They knew what they were doing. Do you know why McVeigh was put out? He was one of the best gun makers ever. He knew everything about it, every detail, and he was brilliant. And I tell you, everyone that knew him said he was an amazing, sweet, wonderful person. There was a double on that guy. That guy was a little genius gun maker. They know what they're doing. And the thing is, and so see, these people survived forever with these. They don't want us to have an armed citizenry that's able to take care of itself and make these asswives back down. Oh, no. Are you kidding me?
I know.
Yeah. So anyway, they can make their little rules a little tighter on those. That's fine. I think the other thing we need to do, besides this, helping people heal with the cannabis, the other thing we need to do is cannabinoids, yes. Yeah. The other thing we need to do, too, is understand that every place should have their own citizen militia. And perhaps, really, though, in case that's what we were supposed to have forever. We had it. And you're supposed to be able to stand up for if something comes against you, especially your own government.
Remedy the whole homeless situation for vets. If we hire our vets as security, and we implemented these types of organizations within our own government, we wouldn't have a lot of these issues. So much of this stuff can be remedied, and that's why. And
these old vets would love to protect the kids. They would love to. And you know what? They're not afraid either. They've lived forever. They don't care. A lot of them are older.
And,
they don't care.
Everybody wants to poo-poo these organizations and what I'm trying to bring about and support. And, just a lot of people, I think, don't understand where I'm coming from quite yet. And I really try to communicate with the MEMS, and I'm trying to hone that skill so that I can, communicate these ideas.
I want you to teach me, Yoda. I want to come visit you. I need to know. I need you to school me, girl.
I need a whole. I literally need like a whole office and like.
No, I'm serious. I want to know because I want to be able to help I just feel like my hands are tied that way. And I know that it isn't that big a deal because once I see it, it'll unlock.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. Well, in my mind, it all makes perfect sense and works very beautifully. But, you know, a lot of people...
I love your memes, by the way. I love them. I live for them. I mean, I just, and you know, they are great. And I'm like, there she is again. I love it. It's like, oh my goodness. And you know, I have to slow down because I feel like I'm beating people on the heads with baseball bats. But no one ever, I've had only like 2 or 3 people unfriend me in the last couple of years. So I don't know whether it is they're on the edge of their seat with popcorn or if they just can't. I don't know if they can't stop looking, you know, they want to know. Then what? And I think it's scary, but they'd rather know than not know. Do you know what I'm trying to say? I mean, it's like a good book that,
and then we've got these other groups like Foster War that we've started, and I don't admin them, and it's like I had no idea the other night. I had no idea how big it has grown, and it overwhelmed me, literally. Like, I was just like, I know,
away. I heard you were like sniveling. I heard you little crying in there. I heard it. It was awesome though, because it's amazing. And it made my heart feel actually literally warm. My whole inside of my chest was vibrating and warm. I felt so good. You know, my solar plexus, I was so happy. I'm so happy, and I'm so grateful to know you, and so thankful. And I can't wait to hear you and Robin. Send her my blessings, and
thank you.
You know, I really can't wait to hear it. I really can't. And you know what? We need to get out of these dark ages.
We do.
There is nothing to fear but fear itself in ignorance. You know, in ignorance. Yeah.
Well, I appreciate you coming on the show. Thank you so much.
Okay, thank you so much.
Yeah,
and thank you, and onward and upward, my dear.
We're going to have to get you in then, because you're going to be a co-host on the Midnight Prayer Hour on the 19th, which is the pre-warm-up for 20 on 20, the Human 20 on 20 campaign, right?
Oh, I love it, and thank you so much. It's such an honor. My heart, nothing could make me happier than that. Than to put that love and vibration of healing out there. It's going to just get stronger and grow more. And it's just like the 20 on 20, the prayers on there. You guys, it's like Easter, like only real Easter, like opening these joyous gifts and hearing everybody say their prayers. I just feel bathed in love and healing. And it's just going out everywhere.
Govinda,
You've got to love it.
Govinda he is so well spoken, and
he is
really
such a beautiful spirit.
Into the divine, really. And it's like, I'm like, even just sitting there, I'm listening, and I'm like, oh my God, what is he going to say next?
And the tone in his voice, it's like Govinda is this angelic, warm, buttery, smooth, beautiful young resonance, and Zeph is like this strong, resonant, just rush all the way through. He just cuts through all the bull.
Yeah, like that real, like that Odin type, you know, like.
Yes. He's just like, no more.
I love it. I love my whole 20 on 20 soul family. I love all you guys so much.
Blessings.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, thanks so much for coming on with me today.
And thank you for having me. It's a joy.
You're beautiful. Mwah.
You as well.
All right.
Okay, we shall talk soon.
All right.
Okay.
Be in touch.
Okay.
I'm going to close out the
bye-bye.
show, folks, with the Stirring Lights by Zeph Daniels. It is an original, and I love his music. All right, guys, this has been another episode of Porthole to Justice, the window to the truth. Off the cuff with Jacklynn Conrad. Bye, guys. Bye.